Hello, everyone, and welcome to Got Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Kolasinski, and with me, as ever, is the magnanimous Alexandra August.
Thanks, guys. Sometimes it's the malevolent, but I try not to do that in public.
We are here to discuss season 2, episode 3 of House of the Dragon, The Burning Mill. If you're just catching this episode for the first time, I would be really interested to know as to how it popped up in your feed. But what we're doing is we're doing a recap of the entire series before season 3 drops on June 22nd of this year. Basically, Alex calls it a little slice of the deep fried lasagna that is this show. I call it a crash course, or we watch it so you don't have to, because it's a lot. It's a lot of feels. It's a lot of heaviness. Um, so
Relationships.
yeah. Also, we've kind of discussed this before, but we are now past the point where I have seen the episodes
Ooh, this is
as of this month.
exciting.
So
I
this is
that's
all new
int-
to me.
Hey.
And by the way, speaking of this podcast, you're listening to it somewhere. You can find it there or wherever fine podcasts are sold for free.
Indeed. Indeed.
We have been doing, if you have been listening, have been doing what we call a trial of the 7 for our recaps of the episodes. We generate a 7-sentence recap of, hey, here's what happened, and then we feed it through AI in the theme of something that we think fits the episode.
Something that
To
we just
what
think
if
is really
this?
funny.
Yeah, what if this was cake? For this one, because of the sneaking around in disguises, I said, "Hey, what if this episode was actually a Mission Impossible movie?"
I got really excited.
So yeah, Alex, if you want to give us the actual recap, and then I can give us the one from the machines that are going to take us over eventually.
Absolutely. Episode 3, The Burning Mill. A border dispute between houses Bracken and Blackwood erupts into bloody clash, marking the first major armed conflict between supporters of Aegon and Rhaenyra in the Riverlands. In King's Landing, Kristen Cole moves to seize Harrenhal as a strategic stronghold, while Gawain Hightower joins the campaign and Aegon is persuaded to remain behind. Daemon reaches Harrenhal ahead of his enemies and secures the castle for Rhaenyra with the support of its castellan, Sir Simon Strong. As the war widens, court politics continue to shift when Aegon names Larys Strong his master of whisperers. Helena shows unexpected compassion toward both Alicent and the grieving smallfolk, underscoring the human cost of the escalating conflict. Determined to prevent all-out war, Rhaenyra disguises herself as a septa and secretly enters King's Landing to meet Alicent and the Great Sept. Their tense reunion reveals how far the realm has already fallen into division, even as both women confront the narrowing chances for peace.
Yeah, a lot happened, and now
Mission
cue the
dum
music.
dum 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 dum. You can start dum 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 dum.
What starts as a minor Riverlands dispute immediately turns into medieval Mission Impossible if every agent were fueled by vengeance, bad parenting, and zero operational planning. In King's Landing, Kristen Cole assembles his big elite war mission, only for Aegon to get told, essentially, "Sir, with respect, you are the part of the plan we are hiding from the plan." Then Daemon pulls off the classic franchise move of arriving first, sealing the objective, and acting so unhinged that everyone just decides cooperating is safer. Back at court,
Burn.
Aegon promotes Larys to spy master, proving once again that in this universe, every hiring decision is what happens when HR is replaced by a snake pit. Helena somehow becomes the only person in the kingdom who notices that constant revenge killings are, from a branding standpoint, maybe bad. Rhaenyra then goes full impossible mission mode, sneaking into King's Landing in disguise for a secret meeting with Alicent that has all the energy of two exhausted moms trying to stop a world war before pickup. And in the end, their emotional summit confirms the central theme of this episode. This mission, should they choose to accept it, was already ruined by men 3 episodes ago.
That was great. That was great. Thank you, sir.
That was fun.
No. Yeah, and also the big theme of the episode for me was basically back and forth between Allison and Rhaenyra, who are both realizing that the staff that they've hired not only is bad at their jobs, they're unwilling to see that.
I and this is kind of one of my, I'm not sure if it's a top moment or not because it felt a little bit like a shift. I felt for a while that what separated the greens and the blacks were, with the exception of Damon, Rhaenyra had competent advisors. Like and Alicent, who is not the one in control, but really only had Otto as someone who, like you said last episode, would make decisions that are looking at more than 3 weeks in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I
Allison,
felt like this was a little bit of a shift in Rhaenyra's power in a way that kind of surprised me.
yeah, yeah, it's you're not wrong, I don't think. Like, and I think it's that shit. I think like Alicent kind of sees that too. You see it in their
Hmm.
last scene together where she wants this over. They both know that like war's a bad idea and it does not need to
Yeah.
happen. They are both agreed on that. And Alicent, you get the impression once she realizes that she, whoops, misheard something, misinterpreted something. Once she realizes that she agrees with Rhaenyra. I think that's the beautiful part about this. They can get to a point where they're actually like outside of themselves enough to see the facts on the ground and to find ways to trust one another despite everything that's happened. And even when the two leaders are doing that, basically, well, Allison is still, oh no, but it's too late. Like you've unleashed floodgates. It's there's no putting the stuff back in Pandora's box at this point, which is a real bummer.
Um, yeah. And I loved that scene, but my absolute favorite moment of the episode was Rhaenyra pulling a knife and then saying, "Oh, wait, no, I did this wrong."
And she's like, I've begun badly, which I could relate to so hard.
It's the equivalent of in a relationship just coming home all sour faced and saying we need to talk when actually you wanted to make dinner plans.
Yeah, yeah, it was really it was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah.
What other stuff jumped out at you that you want to shout out?
And again, like maybe it's because this show hasn't done a lot of comedy or light moments. But I absolutely loved the dinner at Harrenhal. Uh,
Oh my god.
and and Castleyn Simon Strong,
Sell it of my
who,
heart.
yeah, like who bent the knee and then gave the dinner special. And our cook's not great, but it's not poison. Like
Poison. And then like he just
there's
wants
a
to eat dinner. Like
there's a universe where he's played by Don Rickles, and like or what's his name from the first Ocean's 11 movie?
oh, Carl Reiner.
Was it
Carl
That
Reiner.
wasn't Carl Reiner, was it? Well, oh my goodness, that was
The
Carl
older
Reiner. You're
guy?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. That was.
I
Um,
like Carl Reiner as Castellan. He's so good though. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was I am obsessed. I love I loved him the first time we met him. I love anybody who's gonna call like this glam rock bullshit out for what it is, which is that bullshit. And
mhm.
like, hey, we're just trying to have dinner. No one why you look ridiculous. Can you eat something? You want to eat something? All right. Okay. Like, what do you need? We're bending the knee. You are welcome here. Like, I know that you don't get it. And like, this is just a guy who's clearly like I like out of fucks Westeros. I
Mhm.
love out of fucks Westerosi people. Tully was out of fucks. Castellan is out of fucks. Alice Rivers ain't never met a fuck she liked. Like Alice Rivers
Mhm.
carries only her own fucks. And I love this energy for Damon because it makes him look so ridiculous, which is my favorite thing.
Alex wrote the notes for this episode, and in the Who's Introduced, it's Alice M. F. and Rivers.
And Simon,
I
my
think
nephew, can get fucked strong because he doesn't like Laris, which is another great moment.
the tone of House of the Dragon can be expressed in one sentence. Harrenhal is the happiest place in Westeros.
Yep. You can't even light a
I
fire.
you can't even light a fire. Damon with his making the sideshow Bob steps on a rake noise as he gets finds yet another leak in his bedroom.
Also, David is, like, so disappointed. David was so excited to go, like, just lay down the fire and the fury of Daemon Targaryen, puff, 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 and they get there and everybody's like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're so
Glad you're here
completely
first.
unimpressed by every single thing. I mean, we get the reason for that. We get the reason for that, which is that Larys Strong murdered his dad and his brother, and nobody was fooled by that at home. And
Yeah.
they're not thinking about being loyal to Larys. They're going to have to be, but they also like don't have any dudes. They don't have any people, and they're not very
Mhm.
strong. So it's kind of neither here nor there, which is why they have this attitude about like, all right, Damon, have a seat. Yeah. But yeah, I loved every single second of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so great. And my other favorite moment, and again, it's a light moment.
Mhm.
I liked this episode.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
It's funny that I'm just having a realization of I liked a lot of this episode because I was texting you. It was just this is so long. This
So
episode is so
why?
long. I've made a turkey, like, but I really enjoyed it. I was gonna say that my other favorite moment was when um, Aegon Nepo babied his friends into the Kingsguard, and then said, "Oh, by the way, you're celibate," and they all laughed. And then he said, "You're celibate, right?"
What?
And then he took them to the brothel anyway,
Tom
but
Glencardy,
he's
who
gonna
I
hold them to it.
oh man, Tom Glencardy plays Aegon, and I watched the behind the scenes or the after show, and he spoke about how Aegon is realizing that he's a fraud, kind of bit by bit,
Mhm. As he puts on great great grandpa's armor.
and then goes to the brothel anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, this episode was all highlights for me, which is interesting because it's so long and so much happened.
Yeah, I really liked this episode just in general as well, and I thought a lot of that would happen between Rhaenyra and Mysaria, and I like the way they built trust with each other, and I like the values they're finding in one another, and I like the idea of Mysaria, finding someone who's aspirational because she clearly has on purpose acquainted herself with the worst of humanity because that's what she was forcibly acquainted with, and that's the language she speaks.
Yeah.
Um I think that's oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to call out was that the conversation between Corlys and Rhaenys where she brings him lunch because he's fixing stuff and they're so precious.
Yeah.
But who who is your Slade?
Is it time to go to the boards?
Time to go to the boards.
Okay, so we established now 3 episodes ago a dragon count tracker because our dragon count remains the same.
16, 12-4 split.
Mhm. Amount of time that passed, again, hours to days.
Yeah, yeah, there wasn't a huge who's introduced. We got our hair in Hall of Fame,
Yep.
Simon
Uh,
Strong and Alice Rivers. Who else?
we met Gawain Hightower. Gawain is one of my favorite names, and one of my favorite variations of the name is what you put in in the show notes for us, which was
Oh, what?
Gwayne, Gwaine,
Oh. Well, don't
and
they
I
sometimes
loved
spell
that
it
so
like
much. What?
don't they sometimes spell it Gwaine? Like Gawain
I've
with
never
the
seen it
G?
like because I've always seen it as Gawain
Gawain.
and not
Yeah.
Dwayne. But I loved that because it's the same guy but with a mullet.
What if his name was Gwaine
He
Wayne?
showed up with a Trans Am.
I love Gawain Hightower so much. Gawain
Yeah.
Hightower, I love him. He is also out of fucks. He is not pleased to have been summoned from the relative calm of the Hightower to go clean up mess that he knows is not his, and then he has to go on a road trip with his sister's boyfriend that he does not like
Hmm.
and doesn't have time
With
for.
his
And
sister's
then
secret boyfriend that
yeah,
everyone knows about.
and then his secret Dornish boyfriend, and He unfortunately is tripped up as a little bit embarrassed when he decides to cross an open field to get to an inn because fuck sleeping on the ground. And then he is spotted by Bela, who does not get there in
Yeah.
time to kill them, but she does see them. So, and then in addition to Gawain, we get another tour. We get to see when Ulf is at the bar, we meet his friends. And this really feels like a Cheers episode. Like Ulf walks
It
in and he
does.
is king of the
Norm.
tavern. I know. Ulf! And his friends back him up when he tells the story to the guy at door that he's like, yeah, no, I am in fact a bastard, a Targaryen bastard.
Mhm.
You're welcome. And the guy's like, okay. And his friends are like, yeah, yes. And that is Muja with two J's and Clay with an E.
Which one was the one that smacked the behind of the waitress who also had no fucks to give?
I'm gonna go with Clay. I don't remember, but that sounds like a Clay move. I like the couples in this show, and it's kind of fun to see them
Mhm.
operate. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Yeah, yeah, there was less of a who banged and more of a who had moments
yeah,
this
who
episode.
sizzled?
Yeah.
Allison and
Um,
Kristen continue to be in the world's most toxic relationship, but also the most consistent.
I I saw her as being so happy to be rid of him for 3 weeks,
Yeah, I
and
think you're right.
that is sometimes what romance is,
I yeah.
"Oh my god, personal space."
And they're like they really have worked it out where they are like fucking and fighting. They fight in the office and then
Mhm.
they clearly have figured out the balance of like, okay, we can do this in public and our other stuff in private, and those could just be separate. And Allison is like openly attacking his strategy in public over and over again. And he's just like, okay, so can I have your favor? What do you think? And she's like, yeah,
This episode is moonlighting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Rhaenyra and Mysaria, I think we touched on that a little bit, but, yeah, I think we see sort of the
Mhm.
beginnings of what brews between them, or at least in a one-sided way on Rhaenyra's team. And then Rhaenys and Corlys have that just a very high-functioning couple discussion. That's it. We don't need to say any more about
Yeah,
it. I just love them as a loving married couple with flaws, and they have fights, but they ultimately love each other.
I feel like much like we do you remember when he first started doing Got Thrown for Game of Thrones and we were just writing the what if Bronn and Jaime went off and solved mysteries?
Yeah.
I feel like we could have gotten that with Gwaine and Kristen
Yep. I would
and
like
m
Gwen and Kristen.
more odd couple.
Yeah, I would like them to have a side quest, and I think it would be great.
Yeah.
I think this was a preview. I think this was a sizzle reel for that. Like, if I wanted to I would shop this around. Absolutely. But who
Again, we're now at the point where I don't know what's happening.
Mhm.
Um, my gut says we won't see Gawain much longer. Alex is just sitting back and keeping her mouth shut.
Uh, speaking of, who dies this week? That kind of takes us to our intro, which neither of us touched on. So
Yeah.
it's most
So who died? We lost Aaron Bracken and Samuel Blackwood and like 155 other people in just one
et
overhead
al.
shot.
Bracken's
Yeah.
Blackwoods et al. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a really
And
brilliant
the rest.
and all that. And it was, yeah, a really brilliant opening to see again why one of the quadrillion reasons why Alicent and Rhaenyra are correct in not wanting war is because war allows people to do stupid shit things. It allows stupid shit people to do stupid shit things, exactly like these idiot boys of the Brackens and the Blackwoods who just see a way to puff up their penises and just be like, we're gonna reignite this family because we
Mhm.
can, because they technically have a reason. And
They had an HOA dispute
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
continued.
yeah. And so what would you have done? What would we do? So they kill everybody, and this is kind of used to kick off Alicent's being like, "Can we not? Can we not?" And Aegon would be like, "Hey, first blood shed in our name, all right?" And Alicent being like, "Yo, this was a pretty heavy loss. Like, you don't want to do this again." Like, and he just doesn't see that, and that's kind of the theme of the show. Um, who do
Pretty
you think?
much.
We touched on who you thought could fix this, which was Otto marrying Gawain to Rhaenyra.
Yeah. So this episode, I'm gonna give it to Baela Targaryen and Moondancer,
Mm-hmm.
who had they swooped down 45 seconds earlier, could have at least ridded us of Kristen Cole,
And that would have been nice.
and that would have been nice. And I don't know how Aegon is going to handle his first loss, and if his first loss is before his first battle.
Oh,
I think that could have
right.
thrown things for a loop for him.
Yeah, and Chris, it's kind of interesting because I think the reason that Kristen is a character that I don't hate to see coming, like I don't like him, but there's something interesting
He's a good
happens.
character, even though we hate him.
Yeah, 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 your basic good villain stuff, but also he's not stupid. And he also comes from kind of nothing, and because he has been in danger like this, he's the one looking at the sky when Gawain is like, "I just want to get to the hotel." And he's like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit." He notices the sun coming through the clouds, which is probably perfect cover for a dragon who's trying to patrol, and it's tough to argue with that.
If you remember why Rhaenyra picked him for the Kingsguard, it wasn't the Uncle Jesse hair. It was the fact that he was the only candidate who had seen actual battle as opposed to tournaments.
Yeah. And he
And you saw
despite
that.
And like ultimately what he and Allison have in common is that they both take their jobs incredibly seriously to their own detriment, to the point where they're starved in
Hmm.
other areas, which like I don't know that we're out here making the Secret Service live like Catholic priests. So I think that is perhaps a flaw in the Kingsguard infrastructure, but that's just me. So who was your Slade this week? Who Slade?
So I am gonna give it to
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it to Bela because Gawain was of the green. He is now of the green, yellow, and brown.
Yep. Gawain, I like maybe had tears in his eyes when Baelish started. He's like, oh, like Gawain met his maker for the first time yesterday.
Hmm. What about for you?
Literally every woman, including the director. Like this was just a very naked, like, no, 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 the women have the right of things. Like the women are doing the smart things. Rhaenyra, yeah, yeah, that's it. The women. How about Kat?
I've got two.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, honestly, it was the brand new installed Kingsguard who didn't read the terms and conditions and are now, as mentioned before, suddenly celibate and didn't get a bachelor party.
Did
Not
not
that
get a bachelor
that
party. Well,
one should do at their bachelor party,
they get a
but
party.
they
They
would
get
have.
yeah, yeah, they get
They
to go make
do.
fun of Aemon some more, which was, pretty shitty, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I could see that being a moment where there are all of a sudden three new Kingsguard next week.
Yeah. Yeah. My sort of whose fault it was the men in general. Uh, and then who is your most valuable parent?
This was harder for me this
Mhm.
week. It's more of a most valuable parenting moment, and it
Mhm.
was Alicent. And
Aw.
the, oh, wait, I kind of misread everything, and now it's too late moment that she had.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my other who could have fixed this, actually. Was going to be Viserys having told more than one person about the
More
Song
than
of Ice.
one fucking person. This is sort of where this feels a little plot devicey because I'm like, I just don't know how the Targaryens are not leading you mentioned this before, like how are we not leading in the to balance out the incest with the fact that we are on a quite literally holy mission and the people in the north agree that the wall there and the dragons here is what's keeping everything in motion. And I feel like that is the
Yeah,
reason that was not the
yeah.
case is because it helps with this writing right here. And
Because what is a great PR move? Zombies are gonna show up.
I feel like the Starks are fine. Like the Starks are in on it. I feel like the Starks are like, yeah, we
Mhm.
have the wall. Shit's weird up here. If you want to come see a dragon not go north of the wall, we invite you to do that. But take our word as Starks. We've never forget a vow we've made. So,
The
but yeah,
North
so
remembers.
the North literally remembers. My the most valuable parent was Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra did the smart thing, which is also the hard thing. And she states plainly, because she can see plainly that she cannot be the mother her children need right now. So she gives them to somebody who can be, which is definitely a decided like a Westerosi ability, a Westerosi thing that you can do and that you cannot do in obviously any other place. Like the highly specific situation that she is in demands this of her. And
A scene we
again,
didn't even touch on because
no.
so much good things happened this
So
episode.
much happen and it's just really beautiful. It's beautiful to see Bela and Rhaena say goodbye and Bela accept a fate because Rhaenyra doesn't sugarcoat it. She says when she sends Bela away with her children and Bela is like, "Great, so I'm useless." And Rhaenyra is like, "No, but I know it's not going to make you happy, and so I'm asking you to do it willingly." And she does. And that is just good management. And
Mhm.
Bela, we know or Bela's story is not done, and I believe with all this talk of Pentos, eventually, I think we're looking at the eggs that become Daenerys eggs, probably,
Oh,
just for fun.
yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
This also was the first time we saw the Moondancer the dragon,
Yes,
going back to our
yes,
dragon.
which was pretty cool. Moondancer seems to be roughly the same size as Cyrax, and so it feels like the biggest dragons are probably Caraxes and Vhagar, and then everybody else is sort of or sort of like, we got numbers, but they're not massive.
Yeah. Um,
Who was
if,
your
if you recall from Game I don't know if they actually said this in the show itself, but from the book Game of Thrones, they're talking about the various skulls of the dragons, and by the
Yeah, yeah,
100
yeah.
years or so after this, they're cat-sized.
Yeah, yeah, they just don't get any bigger, which is so sad. So, who was your Queen of Love and Beauty to tie this all up?
I think you and I are both going to be able to call who was each other's, but for me, absolutely Simon Strong.
Oh my God, I am also Simon
100%.
Strong.
Okay, I thought you were going to be Alice Rivers.
Alice Rivers
Um,
hasn't quite earned it yet. Like she'll have her moment, but Simon Strong was just the hostess we all needed.
everything you want in both a host and a granddad.
Yes. Doesn't take any of your shit, offers you food.
Yeah, the venison is well aged.
Yeah, it's like, can
Like,
you not waste it, please? Like,
yeah,
I love Damon
I could do an entire episode on that dinner.
I love just it like put it's such perfect comedic writing because you're putting Damon in a situation where he just simply does not encounter. He doesn't encounter people not giving
Yeah,
a fuck about him. Everyone gives a fuck about Damon Targaryen, whether it's good or it's bad. He elicits an emotion when he comes into a room, and if he doesn't do that, then he makes it so he elicits an emotion. And Sir Simon is just fucking Simon Says, bitch. I do what I want,
yeah.
and I'm not impressed by you.
The emotion
Like,
he elicited was "It's about damn time."
yeah. Do you want
E
dinner?
Also, I loved the strong children that were there that were
Mm.
all so creepy,
Oh, I feel do you
but we
okay,
never touch on that whatsoever.
I will have to go and rewatch
They
that
were
because
just
I
weird
didn't
looking.
I feel like Harrenhal does that to people.
Yeah,
What if you
I
just lived in,
loved
like,
this
the
Harrenhal. I've said this 9 times now, but compared to the Harrenhal we saw in season 2 of Thrones, like,
pre-budget?
loved it. Mhm.
Yeah, and Harrenhal's kind of a character in and of itself at this point,
Mhm.
and I feel like Harrenhal is, like, the Hall of Shame. Like, not a Hall of
Yeah.
Fame, a Hall of Shame. Its only claim to fame is that it was melted, is that it was the biggest castle in the
Mhm.
world, and then it was melted, and they all live with that,
It
and I
has
like
been
this.
4 days since the last murderous fire.
Yeah. And Simon was an oh god, yeah. Another just pour one out again for Simon Castellan being like, I don't give a shit about my fucking nephew. Do you know how hard it is to start a fire in here in the summer? Please, but take that out of here. Get the fuck out of here with your like, what are you like or not? Fuck off. Sit
Also,
down
my
and
liege
eat.
lord shits himself.
Yeah, like what with your liege? Go to bed.
Take your mushrooms and go to bed.
Take your mushrooms and go to bed. Anyway, and that was season 2, episode 3, folks. The Burning Mill. We hope that you feel a little revived, rejuvenated, reinterested in season 3 that is about to premiere on June 22nd. And we will continue coverage of that if we haven't said that. So keep tuning in.